All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. Beautiful day in Fort Lauderdale. Might be heading out tomorrow instead of Friday, taking an L-39 Albatross fighter jet up to New York City this weekend for a 8-ship flyby the Statue of Liberty. But instead of departing Friday, might be leaving tomorrow. Taking a look at the weather, we might be under hurricane watch here soon. So I'll keep everybody updated. But how about this? Told you yesterday, do not buy any of what's going on in this market. I told you yesterday with the quote-unquote relief rally at the open, Dow up 200, 250 points. I said sell the hell out of it. Look at this, folks. You see that downward trend? I said sell every one of these rips, and that's in fact been the case to the tune of what, I don't know, $1,300 in a day. We have a bear call spread and weekly options that we placed yesterday that's up about $1,200 right now. There's a 78% probability that that's going to make $2,000 by tomorrow. How about $2,000 in 3 days, folks, on limited risk? Also put a bear spread on FXI, which is obviously the China iShares ETF, and that's looking to make hopefully $1,700 by Friday. So how about $3,700 this week on a bearish market, because we're going lower, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute clown car with these negotiations. And as I predicted a couple weeks ago, the president punting because Tim Cook and other limousine liberals came and kissed his ass was ridiculous. That's the day he lost the trade war, and that's the day he caved to China, folks. He ain't coming back from it, okay? He kissed President Xi Jinping's ass on Hong Kong, which was absolutely the wrong thing to do, man. If you want to be a Ronald Reagan, you stand up for democracy, you stand up for people wanting liberty and to free the yoke of oppression, and you punted on it because you wanted to appease Xi and try and get a deal. How'd that work out for us, dude? Failure, absolute failure. So yesterday at the G7 summit, he tried to walk it back, and like I said, who's on first with this trade stuff? Literally, on Friday and over the weekend, he kind of said, I have some regrets about the trade war. Everybody went ape shit, and then the White House had to go, no. He has regrets that he didn't go higher with the tariffs and hit them harder. It was comical. It is comical when you're making money on this, but it's not comical if you're losing money, right? So the president, I think, getting the point on Friday that this thing really is starting to take a toll on markets, even though it's the right thing to do. He's obviously doing the right thing by standing up to China. We've been economically raped by China for 30, 40 years, and they've used this as a springboard to become eventually a global economic and military superpower. You're welcome, China. So what he's doing is right, but how he's going about it is just roiling world markets. So, and this just continues to be a laugh a minute here that the president said, hey, they called, they want a deal, we're getting back to the table. And the Chinese not only made fun of him about that, they said that never happened, okay? So this morning, and the futures were up on optimism over a trade deal. And I talked to a couple of my coaching clients on the phone on a conference call this morning. I said, sell into this, man. We are going lower today. I predicted it yesterday, and it's happening today. We're going to be going lower into the close, mainly because nobody believes what happened. Right? And Chet, let me get to this real quick. This is shocking. Bill Dudley, the ex-New York Fed president, obviously that's a big Fed head, kind of a lieutenant commander instead of a Fed lieutenant. What did he say? He said the other day Powell should not play along with Trump to prevent his reelection. Ladies and gentlemen, he kind of said, that the Fed is unintentionally underwriting the trade war. He said Donald Trump's trade war with China keeps undermining the confidence of businesses and consumers, worsening the economic outlook. And you know what he did? He said, if the ultimate goal is a healthy economy, the Fed should seriously consider the latter approach, meaning refuse to play along with what the president. The dude is more or less, he's calling for another bloodless coup, kind of like Jim Comey and his band of jackasses at the FBI and all the other traitors at the Department of Justice and in the Obama White House. This is how the other side plays, folks. This is absolutely insane. Now, my own take on the Fed. I think they should be raising interest rates. They should be ignoring the president. I think they should be doing their job. Their job, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately for your 401k, ain't to keep equities up. Their job is full employment and inflation, and both of them are fantastic. We're past full employment by the definition of the Fed. If you want a job, you can get one, and inflation is non-existent. So what are they doing cutting? So Bill Dudley, ladies, this is stunning to me, folks. Right? There's even an argument that the election itself falls within the Fed's purview. This dude is elbowing Jerome Powell to screw Donald Trump so he loses the election, folks. I think people like this are disgusting. Bill Dudley, you are a human piece of shit. Period. What the president doing, once again, with China is right. It is the right thing to do. Why doesn't he just sign a fake deal and they continue stealing all of our intellectual property? They continue screwing our farmers, our steel, everybody. Well, let's just get back to the status quo. And in a couple years, guess what? They're ready to take over literally us. Do you not think that's in the realm of possibility, ladies and gentlemen? It absolutely is. The Chinese are in this for the long haul, and I can't stand the fact that we're calling it a trade war. This ain't a war. You got a war, you got people like that, you lock them up for being traitors. This ain't a trade war. Stop using that word. If it is a trade war, the president needs to get into the Oval Office, sit at that desk, and say, this is why we're doing this. And everybody get ready to suck it up, okay? Because this is going to hurt everybody. But it's for the bigger good. You know what they can do in China? Not say any of that. All they kind of do in their propaganda. But they can also say, and if you have a problem with, taking a little bit of pain here in China, why don't you pick up the phone and call us, and we'll be right by your house to chat. And then you end up in a gulag somewhere with all the Muslims in your country. Ladies and gentlemen, when you can dictate economic policy and happiness at the end of a bayonet, guess what happens? You can beat a country and a group of people that has dudes like this out here telling the Fed chief to stick it to the president so he loses. This is awful. Anyway, so I briefed you a couple weeks ago that what's happening. Slowing share buybacks remove a pillar of the stock market. Who's been the number one buyer of the S&P 500 for the past 2.5 years? The S&P 500. Who's stopped buying a lot of their shares or has slowed the buying? The S&P 500. Guess who's always picked up doing what? Selling. Insiders. You ready for this, folks? Corporate insiders are selling $600 million of stock per day, ladies and gentlemen. That's the canary in the coal mine. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, corporations don't run out to a microphone and go, by the way, as required by law, we're telling you that everybody at the C-level suite is selling their shares. Actually, they are required by law to tell, but they don't have a press release, folks. Guess where it is? It's buried in some filing. They do make it public. You got to find it. I monitor this stuff, and I know this is happening. This is the canary in the coal mine. You think the CEO of, CSX is going to come out with a tweet and go, hey, by the way, I'm dumping a boatload of shares? Nope. They hide it somewhere, but still go, hey, we disclosed it publicly. You just didn't look for it. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. We're heading lower. We are absolutely heading lower, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, okay? And one of the reasons that we got bearish yesterday on the S&P 500 in China was also what? The volatility index, the VIX. The market was up yesterday. The VIX was up yesterday. Market up, VIX up, something's up. And the something that is up was a little bit of a hold your nose rally, folks. If I could draw a line with every one of these highs, these snapback rallies, what happens? It's lower lows and lower highs. We're heading back down to the 200-day moving average, folks. We have got to have some washout selling and find a base. This triple bottom right here and this, double top means we're going lower. Now, I haven't seen the president's Twitter feed all day today, so obviously he's taken a little bit of a breather. But it's funny that people are saying, well, maybe the president got the hint that markets ain't digging his tweet foreign policy. If you think that guy's going to change the way he is now, you're nuts. So even just because the president hasn't blasted something doesn't mean he's not going to. The Chinese are still making fun of us for, hey, we didn't call. You're high and you're lying, and I think he is. You saw Secretary Mnuchin's body language yesterday when he was asked about, hey, did a call actually happen? And the president, kind of stepped in to answer for Mnuchin. Nobody that I've talked to believes that the Chinese called. They know they're in a power position, and they're going to use it. Okay. All right, folks. By the way, tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, it's usually at 7 o'clock, but 9 o'clock tonight, we're starting our full throttle training. individual live training sessions from this is a market, these are calls, these are puts, this is what the hell volatility is, all the way 4 weeks later to iron condors and more complex tactics. Only $195 for this training. All you need to do is head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for Full Throttle Academic. Everything's recorded. You'll get access to the replays. If you want access to every time we do these 8 sessions going forward, we do it about 4 times a year, folks. It's only $495. Over at Brand X, where they give you horrible training, they charge you a couple grand for this type of stuff, and it's one-time access. If you buy that, you deserve everything bad that's going to happen to you. This is what it's worth, and I essentially give it away, man, because you're here for the trade ideas and the commentary, okay? So I'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern if you want to be in Full Throttle Academics. Otherwise, I'll see many of you today at 1 o'clock in our primary live trade brief. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see you.